Some films are more than just films. They're these profound, challenging experiences. And Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List is absolutely one of them. Today, we're going to really deconstruct the incredible moral transformation that's right at its heart. And that quote, it's not an exaggeration, is it? We have to start right there by acknowledging the sheer weight of this film. It is a landmark based on just harrowing real-life events, and it tells a story that still hits so hard decades later. So, here's how we're going to walk through this. We're going to follow the moral journey of its central character, Oscar Schindler. We'll start with him as this self-serving businessman, then we'll witness his conscience waking up, see him clash with pure brutality, understand the incredible power of his famous list, and finally, we'll unpack the film's timeless message. All right, let's begin right where the film does, with a man who looks at a world at war and doesn't see tragedy, he sees a golden opportunity. So when Oskar Schindler rolls into occupied Krakow, saving people is the last thing on his mind. He's a sharp, pragmatic German businessman, and he sees a chance to make an absolute fortune. He opens a factory, and he hires Jewish workers for one very simple, very cold reason. They were cheap labor. Yeah. The hero we eventually meet, he doesn't start that way at all. His ambitions are completely selfish. He wants money, he wants status, and he wants the kind of influence that lets him move smoothly through Nazi party circles. He is, at his core, an opportunist. But then, something starts to shift. This guy, who was once driven entirely by greed, starts planting the first seeds of a massive moral change. And the first major influence is his accountant, Itzhak Stern. Now, Stern gets it. He understands the mortal danger facing the Jewish people, and he quietly, cleverly starts using Schindler's factory as a safe haven. He's hiring people not because they're skilled, but because it will save them. He really becomes the quiet moral compass of the whole story. Now, you have to remember Spielberg's artistic choice here. Shooting almost the entire film in black and white gives it this raw, documentary-like feel. It just plunges you into the grim reality of the time. But he breaks this rule just once, and it sets up one of the most iconic moments in all of cinema. Right in the middle of the chaos, as the Krakow ghetto is being liquidated, Schindler is watching from a hillside, and he spots a single, tiny figure in a bright red coat. It's just a little girl, wandering all alone through this absolute horror. This is the turning point. In a sea of what could look like anonymous victims, that one flash of color makes the tragedy painfully personal. She represents all the lost innocence, the individual human cost of the slaughter. It's the moment Schindler stops seeing faceless crowds and starts seeing people. His conscience is officially awake. And this awakening puts Schindler on a collision course with the world around him, a conflict that's perfectly captured in his relationship with another powerful German. The film gives us this powerful, stark contrast between two men. On one side, you have Schindler, who finds his empathy and starts using his power to save lives. And on the other, you have Amon Goeth, who just embodies pure evil and uses his power to destroy. It's an incredible study in the two paths a man with absolute authority can take. And Goeth isn't just a symbol villain. He is the walking, breathing personification of Nazi ideology. As the commandant of the Plaslau concentration camp, he has this complete ideological blindness. To him, the prisoners aren't human beings at all. They are just objects to be used, tormented, and thrown away whenever he feels like it. So, faced with this unimaginable brutality, the transformed Schindler makes his move. And this brings us right to the climax of his moral journey, the ultimate act of defiance. Remember the guy who used his money and connections for parties and profit? Well, now he's using them for something completely different. He's bribing officials, forging documents, and just masterfully manipulating the entire Nazi bureaucracy, all with one single goal: to protect the people in his factory. And this all culminates in the creation of his famous list. He and Stern work together to compile the names of workers who will be transferred to a new factory, moving them out of the reach of the death camps. The list saves over 1,000 people. Think about that number for a second. 1,000 lives. The list, it becomes so much more than just a list of names. In a system that was built on nothing but death and extermination, this simple piece of paper becomes this profound symbol of life. It's a testament to hope and survival against impossible odds. By the time the war ends, Schindler's transformation is absolutely complete. He has spent every penny he had on bribes and supplies to keep his workers alive. And in one of the film's most crushing scenes, he just breaks down. He's not celebrating what he did, he's sobbing, lamenting that he couldn't have saved just one more person. Human life became the only currency that mattered to him. So, what do we take away from this incredible, gut-wrenching story? Let's try to distill the film's powerful and, honestly, timeless lessons. The film's philosophy really comes down to a few core truths. It shows us that one person can make a world of difference, that real courage means standing up to a corrupt system, and that empathy is our most vital asset. But maybe the most crucial lesson of all is about the danger of simply doing nothing. This right here, this is the central argument of the entire film. Evil thrives when good people decide to just look the other way. Schindler's story is so remarkable not just because he acted, but because so many others chose not to. His journey is a powerful, powerful condemnation of indifference. And in the end, Schindler's List leaves us with this huge, haunting question. By showing us a man who went from valuing money to valuing human lives above all else, the film forces us to confront that question ourselves. And in doing that, it makes sure that this piece of history and all the lessons it holds are never, ever forgotten.